Okay, the next book I picked up is the one that really changed my life. I started to read Ruth Montgomery's A Search for Truth, and I got about maybe 2 or 3 chapters into it, and this woman said she could put a pen to the paper and it would just write all these spiritual things, all by itself. And I thought, bull. There is no way that can happen. But I decided to try it anyway. I had to overcome a lot of fear, and especially with the church I'd been brought up in, because it was really fear-based as far as anything that I thought was fun would send me to hell. So I started, and I was serious about it. So when I started to do it, I said the words to an old Baptist hymn, which was, "Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. Thou art the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I am humbled, yielded, and still." And then there's a jerk. What was that? That wasn't me. Another jerk. And then some squiggly lines. And I'm thinking, I'm not doing this. There's this pen, and it's moving by itself, and it's making squiggly lines. And I dropped the pen and ran out of the room, got my breath, decided to come back. And then it started to make the letter L across the page. And I thought, well, at least that I can see what it is. And then it wrote. And then I thought, the letters became words, and words became a phrase. And this is what it wrote. And let's see if I can smart enough to use this thing. Okay, it was writing lovely or lonely here, and it was all one word, or lovely here. Because it wasn't my handwriting, I didn't know the difference between the N or the V. So, with my background, it came from hell. So, I wanted so much to confide in someone, so I called my friend Flora. She was the only one that didn't go to the Baptist church. And so I called her, and she was also teaching Sunday school in the Methodist church where I was teaching. She was teaching 9th graders. I had the 8th graders. So I'm corrupting the entire junior section here. So I called her. She's packing up to go to England, and I'm thinking, it's really poor timing on her part. Just when I need her, she's going to take off and go to England. But I told her what was happening, and I told her about the lovely here or lonely here, and I really did not know which one it was. But she was fascinated. And so then, after I finished talking to Flora, I went back and picked up the pen again, and then this took a lot of courage. And I put the pen down, and it wrote, "Fear not, my child, I am with you always, Jesus." And then I knew that it wasn't lonely there at all. It was lovely there. And I felt so relieved, temporarily. I started receiving messages, and I wanted to, first of all, I was asking who's writing this, and I didn't get any answer. And then I get this thing, "My beloved Carolyn." And I go, whoa. And then it goes on and on. It's getting pretty mushy. And I said, "Who is this?" And it wrote, "Lover John." I don't know anybody named John. But the letters were interesting. I must admit I was fascinated to be receiving letters from some entity. I didn't even know there were entities. But the receiving these messages. And then he started using the name Ellen also. And then I thought, why is he calling me Ellen? And I really didn't know until much later on under a regression that, yes, long time ago, I was Ellen, and I was married to John.